Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are tracking a critical features for web apps, which is authentication. We'll build a simple login system with Next.js and protect specific routes. By the end of this video, your app will be secure and ready for real users. So let's dive in. So first of all, as you know, in a simple web service app or a website, you have to have two pages for an authentication system, which is login and register, or sign in or sign up. And today we're gonna have a short example for our login page, and we're gonna set up a dashboard. So first of all, I recommend to create a folder in your app. I will call it, for example, auth, short form for authentication, and then here we can simply create our login with a page.js6 file which creates a route. So now if I go back to my homepage and if I put slash and login, you will see that I'm in login page. But if I go to register, we will see that we got a 404 error because we don't have any register page. So I will go back to my login and I just delete this import, and I will rename this page to, for example, login page. And here we can start to create our form. So I will just create a really simple form with an h1 tag. So in h1 I will call it, for example, login page, and then I will create a form because we are gonna use state. And here in this form we're gonna add an input, a closing tag, and here I'm just gonna make the type, for example, username, and then we're gonna add a placeholder which is, for example, enter your username. Then we're gonna have some styles. For example, I will set the text to black, and that's all for now. And we're gonna need a button. So I'm gonna create a button. I will call it submit, and this button will have a type attribute which will be equal to submit. And that's all for now. We can set this form to a class name as well. I will just flex and flex calls, and then min height screen to move it to center, and we'll justify center, and items center. So that's gonna be our form, and in this form I'm gonna put a class name, and I will put grid to be like that, and we can put a gap to have some space, like gap 2, and I think that's quite enough. And we can edit our input as well. I will put rounded, for example, and I will add a border, and I will add some paddings. Okay, that's too much. Padding 2, yeah, padding 2, that's enough. And then for the submit button, I'm just gonna add class name and border rounded, and maybe background black and text white. I'm gonna set the border to border, for example, neutral 7,000. I think that's good. It's not bad till now. We can add a hover effect. We can change the background to, for example, neutral 800, and yeah, that's it. And for the login page, we can add a class name, for example, text 2xl, and margin bottom 10, And yeah, that's all. And here we can just add another div tag. I will put the div tag at the end, and we can add a cluster for this div tag. We can put around it and border, and border neutral, yes, let's say neutral 700. I will put a padding like that, and I think that's quite nice until now. And as you can see, it's responsive as well. And so I think for now it's everything is fine. So yes, now if I create a function to capture the username from the input field, we can go inside the function, and we can create a variable in arrays. We can call it username and set username, and then we're gonna equal it to user state. We're gonna import the user state library from React, the user state function from React, and then we're gonna put a raw quotations, a raw string, an empty string to set the user state as empty. Then we're gonna add a handle login to add it to our button. So I'm gonna create another variable called, for example, handle login, which is equal to parentheses, and I will put a variable called e because it's more common. Then we're gonna have our arrow function, then the body of the function, then I'm gonna put just e dot prevent default, which is a JavaScript function. So that's all. And then we are gonna have some conditions that if, for example, the username is equal to admin, we will redirect the user to its dashboard, because we know that if he, for example, puts admin as its username, it's the key pass or the password or anything, the combination of the admin dashboard. So I will just create a condition that if username equal to admin, we're gonna have a function that we will save the user in local storage and redirect him to a slash dashboard. So I will call the local storage dot set item. Then in parentheses we're gonna have user JSON dot string. Then in parentheses and a bracer, I'm gonna call the user name to save the username. And at the end, we're gonna push the user into its dashboard. For example, I will call it dashboard. You can call it, for example, admin panel or anything else. So we just have to import our router here. I will create a variable for router which equal to use router, and don't forget to import it from Next.js/navigation. And that's all. So here we're gonna pass the handle login to our form. So on submit, it's equals to handle login, and then we are gonna put a function and unchange value into our input. So for example, unchange equals to a bracer with a parenthesis and e, with an arrow function that we're gonna recall our set username, which was in the user state, which is equal to, in parentheses, e dot target, which is a JavaScript function, dot value, and that's all. We can require it as well, so user cannot do anything else unless fill this input, and that's all. We can create another condition that if it wasn't this, so else will be an alert, a simple alert that will tell user that's invalid username. That's all. So now if I go back to my page, we will see that we have an error. We have to put our use client because we are using user state and use user. So that's all. If I reload this page, you can see that we have our form, and if I put anything else unless the admin, we will get an error. And if I put admin, it will redirect us to the dashboard. So let's go ahead and create our dashboard. So I will recommend you to create a folder in parentheses called, for example, dashboard or panel or anything else. We can call it directly dashboard as well. And then we're gonna have our page.js to make it a page. Then our function, I will erase this import, and then if I put admin as our input, as our value in inputs, and admin and then submit, I will go over to our dashboard. So now here we can make some changes in our dashboard. For example, let's create a simple h1 tag. For example, welcome to the protected dashboard. And here we can create a button for user to log out. Basically, if he doesn't want this account, he can just log out from the log out his session. And here we will put this in a parenthesis, and we'll go switch to the other line, and here we will create a div tag as the parent tag, and we're gonna put it here. And here we're gonna create a button tag, for example, like that, and we can write logout, and then in button we can add an on click, which is equal to, for example, handle logout. And we have to do the same thing as we did for our login. So we have to create a variable called router equals to use router from Next/navigation. And so here we're gonna create a variable to handle the logout, because if I go to our login page, which is /login, and when I log in as the admin username, and if I go to the console to application, we can see that in our localhost 3000 I can see a user which is equal to user admin. So that's why we have a permission to access the dashboard. So if I clear this username and if I refresh the dashboard, we can see that we still have the permission to access the dashboard page. Why? Because we didn't handle it, and everyone can now access our dashboard. So first of all, we're gonna handle the logout, then we are going to pass to add a middleware, so no one except admin can access the dashboard. So let's go back to our dashboard page. So we'll create a variable called handle logout, which is equal to parenthesis, then our function and the body function, the function of the body. Then we have to add the local storage, and we will use a remove on term function, and we want to remove the user, and then we will push the user to login page with a slash, just like that. So now if I click on logout, you can see that we have been pushed to the login page and our user session has been gone. So everything is working well. So now if I go to our dashboard as a normal user, you can see that we still have the permission. So what should we do? We can do some steps, but first of all we can just add a variable which is for example user equals to json dot parse, and here we are checking that if the user is logged in by verifying the local storage, and if not we'll redirect him to the login page if no user is found. So I will use parse, then in parentheses I will put local storage dot get item. So we want to get an item which is a user, and then we will create a condition that if there wasn't any user, you have to router.push, which is a slash login. So basically we just did that. If there wasn't any user, we will redirect the user to a slash login, and we will when we put it in a use effect. So I will import the use effect as well, just like that, and the body of the function I will put everything in the use effect, and at the end we just have to add a router in our use effect. Now if I go back here and if I go to a slash dashboard, you can see that we redirected to the login page instantly, and that's how we can provide a redirect in our login in our dashboard, and we'll make it really secure. And so that was the basic function. If I log out, I'm log out, and if I put my admin username, I will go to my dashboard. So, and that's it. We will build a basic authentication system in Next.js with our with user state and use effect. We covered a login page, protected routes, and logout. In the next video we're gonna talk more about use state and use effect. And that was it until now. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave your feedback in the comments. See you until next video. Have a great time.